Hey there, it's Chris Acton with Acting Creative, and this is A Handwoven Experience, episode 57. And in this episode, we're going to talk about the straight draw. It always kind of makes me chuckle because I think of the Wild West, a little quick draw, but it's not that at all. In weaving, when someone says that a pattern has a straight draw to it, they're talking about how you are threading your heddles in your shafts. So let's look at a pattern so I can visually show you what I'm talking about. I pulled up, this is for a twill pattern right here. Whoops, get the shine off you there. Okay, so this right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, talks about that is a straight draw right there, which this correlates to our shafts. I'm gonna blow it up so we can really see what we're talking about. So I made it huge, look at this. So this is like we're reading a weaving draft here. And this, like I said, 1, 2, 3, 4, this is called a straight draw. Now a straight draw is important because you see it all over the place. For so many patterns, as you're dressing your loom, you're just going to thread the heddles in a straight draw sequence. Just 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, over and over and over again. So once you have that down, the world is your oyster. You can do so many patterns. Matter of fact, you could probably thread your loom in a straight draw pattern and do it for years and never get bored. There's so many options. But this is the basics. This is where you start, is with a straight draw sequence for your shafts and your heddles. So let's talk about how do we actually create a straight draw on our loom. Okay, so part of the reason I made this enormous is that I wanted to give you a nice visual of how you're gonna read this, okay? So I am kind of leaning over the front of my loom here, and I'm looking at my pattern, and I wanna kind of sit in the pattern, if that makes sense. So as I'm looking at the pattern like this, I'm on the front of the loom, this is how it's gonna go. So see how this correlates to my 4 shafts, and I have 4 rows. That's the order. So if I was laying this down, it's gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, on and on and on throughout the entire pattern. Now, if you have a jack loom like mine is, there's a little hiccup right in the middle of the loom. So let's do this. I'm gonna come around to this side of the loom and let's try it again, up close and personal from the back. Hold that thought. Okay, so here I am sitting at the back of the loom. I've moved my weaving bench down, so I'm kind of at squat height. I think that's the official term, squatting height. So if you recall, we've got our oversized weaving pattern here. And remember, we want to read it as if we are sitting at the front of the loom, which is on that side. So we're going to lay it down like this and see, this is our straight draw right here. So we can visually see that we need to have a yarn go through this shaft, this shaft, this shaft, in this order. That's what we're working towards. And because we're going to do some detailed work, I'm gonna need my glasses. So let's talk about this type of loom. So this is a jack loom, like I said. And because of the way the jack loom functions, everything pushes up the shafts from the middle. So you've got this device that holds everything in place and moves it up and down, right? But we have to work around this when we're creating our straight draw for our pattern. Are you with me? So here is my little trick then for how to make sure that you have everything going the right direction, working around this little piece in the middle. Now, you could always undo this. That is totally fine, but I tend to leave mine where it is and work around it. So here's how I do that. So because we're reading it like this, right? We want, first of all, kind of find your middle, and then want to find your first yarn, and we want it to be on shaft number 1, right? That is how the straight draw works. The next one is going to be on shaft number 2. The next one, ooh, hard to see. Okay, number 3. And then we've got number 4. Okay, so what we would do then is just carry on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, all on this side. Okay, but we also have to thread the yarns on this side too. So here is the thing to keep in mind. We need everything to look like this, right? Going the same direction. So when you move to the other side of your little piece here, you're gonna go the opposite way. So instead of going 1, 2, 3, 4, we're gonna start with number 4 and go 4, 3, 2, 1. If that makes sense. Let me grab the next one here. This is my shaft number 3. This is shaft number 2. And this last one, shaft number 1. All right, so the goal is that when you are finished, if you were a little birdie looking down on your loom, it would all look like this. So think about whether you're on this side or this side, how it's all going to visually look the same way. Hopefully that helps kind of give you an idea of what your end goal is when you're trying to create a straight draw on your loom. Now, not all looms will have to contend with this little piece in the middle, and that would be much smoother. So work with your pattern, kind of think through how it's going to go on your loom, and in no time you'll have a fabulous straight draw and you'll be weaving like a champ. So I hope that helped clear up a few little bits of confusion about straight draw, and that you are feeling more confident about tackling that next weaving project. All right, my friends, have a wonderful week. Go weave something fabulous, huh? Have a good one and happy weaving.